Hi, loving soul. Today we're going to be talking about the easiest way to spot red flags in a new relationship. I know from speaking to some of you that you are really scared about being burnt yet again. You felt like you've been pouring time, energy, and love into relationships that end up causing heartache. And sometimes even a bit of trauma because you felt blindsided by how it ended. I know that some of you even find yourself pouring your time and energy into work or another focus instead because it actually feels safer than entertaining the thought of navigating another relationship. But listen, you're doing yourself a disservice because I know in your heart of hearts, you really want to have a partner where you can dance through life together and feel that joy and love of an authentic, loving relationship. And what's blocking you from it right now is fear. So how do we unblock it? We need to remove the fear. And the best way to do that is to give you the confidence to know that you're going to be able to spot those early warning signs and red flags. And when you do, you'll know exactly the action to take and you'll feel confident about taking it because of the mindset shifts I'm going to share with you in this episode. So let's get stuck in. Not sure where to even begin when it comes to finding a healthy, loving partner? Maybe a part of you even thinks it's easier to be single and avoid the anxiety and stress altogether. But there's another part that still dreams of a fulfilling relationship. Well, if you're done with spending your precious time and energy on partners who bring you heartbreak, anxiety, and stress, and you want a way out of the constant wondering why you aren't meeting the right partner, you are in the right place. Hi, I'm Remy, clinical hypnotherapist, EFT facilitator, NLP master practitioner, and your dedicated love upgrade coach. I went from being a codependent, anxious serial dater and marrier of the wrong men to being happily married with the warm, loving family I could only have dreamt of. I'm here to give you the blueprint you've been missing to overturn your blocks and limiting beliefs, connect with your inner wisdom, and understand the nature of our energetic reality, all so you can confidently and safely attract the healthy, loving relationship you've always wanted and truly deserve. It's time to upgrade your subconscious and start some real life magic happening. This is your time to put beautiful you first for a change. So tell the outside world it can wait. Hush those notifications and let's get to it. I've been there through the heartbreak too. I have been in relationships where honestly I stuck around far too long, ignored all the red flags, didn't even want to see them. So it felt more like I couldn't see the red flags rather than I was ignoring them. But on honest self-reflection, I realized that they were there. And had I been open to seeing them, I would have been able to have left the relationship much sooner and have a much healthier mindset that would have helped me to avoid feeling heartbroken. And when I had this realization and I really started implementing it in my life, I would see partners in a completely different way. I would start assessing not whether they like me, which was my primary concern originally, but I would start thinking, hey, I wonder if they are actually serving me. Is this really the person that I want to have in my life and, dedicate my life to in my rest of my days? Do I really want to be spending all my time and energy and love with this one person and raising a family with them and to the exclusion of all others? And when I thought that way, and when I had the parameters of even knowing what a healthy relationship was in the form of my 5 factors and, all the 4 nutrients that go into maintaining a relationship, it was really easy for me to see whether or not they fit the bill and whether or not they were worth my energy and time. And if they weren't, I would have the confidence to let them go. And I knew that by letting them go, I wasn't actually losing anything. What I was doing is gaining space to allow more of what I did want into my life. So the really good news as well here is that you actually don't need to memorize a whole list of red flags or narcissistic traits or anything like that. It's actually way easier and more organic than that, as most powerful things are. Okay, so how do we spot red flags? Well, it all starts with knowing what you do want. So we want loving kindness in a relationship, give and take, mutual consideration. Really, it's all summed up in knowing my 5 root factors. FACTRS. Friendship, attraction, congruent values and beliefs, trust, and respect. And when you have those 5 very important elements in a relationship, that is how you know your relationship is healthy, and that is what you want. If any one of those roots are missing or broken or have been somehow damaged in some way, and you feel that it is beyond repair, the relationship is also beyond repair and is not aligned for you. Now, the other part to that is when you do have those 5 factors in relationship, it's really important to keep them strong, just like when you're growing a plant. If the plant's growing really well, but then you don't water it for a month, it's going to die, right? It's exactly the same thing with a relationship. It's a growing, organic, beautiful thing. And to keep it growing really well, we need to do a check, CHEC, for the 4 nutrients, which are communication, good humor, empathy, and curiosity. And these really are the 4 main things that keep our factors strong. So we need to be able to speak well with each other, and actually want to have communication. The good humor, where you come at conversations with love and, lightness. And then empathy, where you actually care about the other person. And curiosity, as in you are interested in the other person and how they're feeling and what they're thinking. Now, anything that isn't aligned with these core elements is a red flag as well. So if you start to get this sense that one of those elements is not quite right, you need to really open up a loving channel of communication with your partner and see what's going on for them. Not in a blamey way, but in a way that's full of love and concern for your relationship. And even before you do that, actually, what you can do is show those elements yourself. It's really helpful if you start communicating lovingly and you show good humor and lightness and you show loving empathy and you show a gentle curiosity in your partner, and just see if that stokes their fire again. Because sometimes our partners go through things and it's nothing to do with us. They just might be somebody who takes stress or overwhelm on board and then has a natural human reaction, which is sometimes to shut down. They might feel depressed or anxious, and some people like to communicate it and get help with it that way, and some people just completely shut down and withdraw from the world. So you need to understand where they're coming from and, meet them where they're at as well. Now, as I was saying before, in truth, toxic partners never really blindside us. There are always warning signs. If you are being honest, I bet you can think back and identify tiny inklings that you picked up on about the health of your relationship way before it actually finished. And this would give you the insights as to how aligned your partner was. And this is easier to do now that you know you have a benchmark against which to measure them. So the 5 root factors and the 4 nutrients. Have a little think about what it is that you picked up on, even without knowing those things back then, that you might have brushed under the carpet because you didn't really want to see them. It might have been in their behavior towards you, or even how they treated other people, if they were rude to, waiters in a restaurant, or on the phone, if they were really abrupt to people, or, if they treated people with disrespect. Or it might be in their views of the world, if they had very harsh, unforgiving views. Perhaps they had a negative personality and were complaining all the time. Their values, how they behaved and showed their priorities. For instance, needing to be the life of the party, even if it was to your detriment. Or maybe they kept you on your toes by blowing hot and cold and you couldn't work out why. Or maybe they didn't have accountability for anything that they did wrong, and instead they blamed you and made it feel like it was your fault. The problem is that our mindset stops us from taking notice. We're either in denial, or we're blaming ourselves or making excuses for them because we don't want to see the red flags. And it just completely, puts the blinkers on our eyes and stops us from seeing these warning signs. So why do we do this? Well, usually it's because we are fearful of what it means for us if we do spot a red flag. And as I was saying before, when I dropped this fear of what that meant, and I guess it was the fear of having what I thought of as a failed relationship, because I made that mean something about me and what was possible for me. When I realized that it actually had nothing to do with me, and it had nothing to do with what was possible for me, just in the way as, when you have a business and it doesn't take off, it's never a failure. It's always a learning opportunity. You can glean the information from that you've learned, re-hone your skills where needed, re-hone your messaging and your marketing and the product that you're selling, make it even better, and then go back out into the world and try again. Just the same way is how we need to be seeing relationships. It's always a chance for us to learn something about ourselves. So how can we turn this around and open our eyes to see these early warning signs? Well, we need to address and resolve our fears. This comes, as most things do, from a deeper understanding of the truth of our reality. It's all about remembering that failed relationships don't exist when you treat each one like a rich learning experience. There's no such thing as a failed relationship in reality. Instead, they're just like breadcrumbs, leading you on a path to an aligned relationship that is in integrity with your highest and best wishes for your life. And when we see things this way, we are much more likely to pay attention to the red flags and then let go of those partners that aren't serving us when we should. So to wrap it up, we don't need to be paying attention to whether or not our partner is doing a whole bunch of things that we don't want and trying to notice all the red flags. Instead, we need to be focusing on what we do want and making sure that our partner is serving us in that way. We need to be making sure that they're in line with the 5 root factors: friendship, attraction, congruent values and beliefs, respect and trust. And then we need to be making sure that we have the right essential nutrients in the relationship. So the CHEC, communication, good humor, empathy, and curiosity. We want to make sure that our relationship has all those things in it. And if not, we need to open up a clear, loving line of communication with our partner about what's going on. But before that, we need to start living in alignment ourselves with those checks. So making sure that we are also bringing all that to the relationship. And the most important thing is that we have our eyes wide open to the truth of the relationship and they're not blinkered by fear. And the way we do that is to remember the truth, that every relationship that doesn't work out in the way we want it to has got rich lessons and learnings in it. And it's just an indication, at the very least, of our preferences and what we don't prefer in a relationship, so that we can re-hone what we do want and adjust our benchmarks appropriately so we can make sure the next partner is more like that. And then we just let go. We just trust that what we want is coming to us. And in the meantime, we can spend all this amazing time on ourselves, just enjoying our life, planning our next holiday, learning more, following our curiosities, and increasing the joy in our life. When you are living in this high vibe energy, that is the very best way to manifest the loving relationship that is in alignment with your highest and best wishes for your life. So how easy was that? If you have any other blocks that you're coming up with, or challenges, or any fears around a new relationship that you think might be thwarting your chances or your energy, let me know, and I would absolutely love to help you out. You're very welcome to have a good vent and spill out all your worries to me in a voicemail through WhatsApp. I think it's the best way to communicate. I absolutely love voicemails. Me and my girlfriends just voicemail all day long. When you have children, it's the best way because there's just not enough time in the day to have a proper phone call. I'll leave my number in the show notes, and you can also contact me through the Contact Us page on my website, www.herloveupgrade.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram. My handle is @loveupgradecoach. As always, I hope this brings you closer to the love and life you are meant for. Lots of love until next time. Bye. You should be so proud of this courageous, incredible journey you are on, and I'm so happy to be here supporting you to say goodbye to toxic relationships and claim the wonderful life and love you truly deserve. If you have a friend who you think needs to hear today's episode too, why not spread the love and share it with them? Sending you so much love in abundance. Until next time.